Hello everyone, I had to share with you what this Dendrobium looks like, totally bloomed out now. This is my no ID Dendrobium that my friend Caroline nicknamed for me. Her name is Plum Pretty, and it describes her very well. She is so deep plum that at night she almost looks black. So this is a gorgeous Dendrobium. I'm so glad that this is fully bloomed out. And this is another one of my no ID Dendrobiums. I nicknamed her Princess Peach. And as you see, she's got a gorgeous bloom. She still has 4 buds to bloom out, but I love the color of this gorgeous Dendrobium. I've had so much growth in my Dendrobiums for about the past 6 weeks, so I thought I would just kind of show you what they're doing and how I'm taking care of them while they're growing so quickly. And I have most of my collection growing out in my sunroom. These are growing new canes mostly. I've got one that has a terminal leaf, and all the rest of them are either growing canes or one of them is even spiking. So I've been asked many times, why are you fertilizing and watering so often while they're in active growth? Well, the answer to that is when they're in active growth, these things get hungry and thirsty. I can easily water the Dendrobiums that I have growing in moss every other day. The moss is not even wet anymore. They drink that much water. These canes take up a lot of water, obviously, because I've been very surprised. Throughout the rest of the year, you don't need to water them so often. But in the summer, while they're actively growing, they need a lot of water, and they also need a lot of fertilizer for those canes to grow. The canes grow surprisingly quickly. These canes grow from the time they start until the time they mature. It takes only about 2 to 4 weeks for them to grow an entirely new cane. So you can imagine how much fertilizer you need to back up all of that new growth. So it's really interesting because my Dendrobiums are at all stages of growth right now. This is Dendrobium, the beautiful green, the bloom that's so green that, well, thus its name. It is as green almost as the leaves. And as you see, it's got a new cane. I've got new canes. I've got canes that are getting ready to finish. They almost have a terminal leaf. I have them with terminal leaves. And then I've got one that's spiking. So I have them in almost every stage of growth at this point. So right now, with the ones that the canes are growing, like this one, I am fertilizing and watering them really, really often. I have a video where I show exactly how much fertilizer I'm giving them, and I will place that in the description box below. But I am fertilizing them every 3 days in the bark, and the ones that are in moss, I'm fertilizing those every 2 days. Now, after every 3rd time that I fertilize, I'm going to flush that pot through with just clear water. And several of you have asked me for a close-up of what a terminal leaf looks like. Do you see how there are no new leaves? No more new leaves coming out from the center of this cane. That is what a terminal leaf looks like. This leaf right here is the terminal leaf. This is the very final one to come out. So I'm going to back off from the fertilizer on that plant because it's grown all it's going to grow. It doesn't need all that fertilizer. So what I do when they have a terminal leaf is I just water them with CalMag and a little bit of Epsom salts. They don't need so much nitrogen anymore. I'll probably fertilize them with nitrogen about twice a month until they spike. Okay, and as you see, this one just spiked. So what I'm doing is I'm going back to fertilizing this one with a high dose of nitrogen, just like if it was growing a new cane. This is a new spike, so it needs that extra nitrogen to get it to grow. So that's what I'm doing with the ones that are starting to spike. And so many of you have asked me, what do I do at this stage? I have blooms and I have buds. Do I fertilize? No. You hold the fertilizer. The only thing that I've done with this one, with Princess Peach, is as soon as the buds started setting on this spike, I put about a half of a teaspoon of garden lime around the bark so that it has plenty of calcium and magnesium throughout this bloom cycle. And as you see, the plant is beautiful. It is happy and healthy. And that's all I'm doing with this. I'm not giving it any type of fertilizer. I might put a few drops of CalMag in the water, not much. I just don't want to do a whole lot at this point because I don't want to give the wrong nutrients at the wrong time. That might cause the buds to blast. I don't want that to happen. The garden lime has been a really, really good thing. It's a really great way to make sure that your plants are getting enough calcium and magnesium, and I can't recommend it highly enough. And when they're blooming, that fertilizer changes again. All these plants have different needs according to where they are in their growth cycle. So this one has totally bloomed out. So when am I going to start fertilizing it again, and how? What I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for this top bloom to harden off a little bit, probably 2 or 3 weeks. And then what I'll do is I'll probably just give it a very low dose of fertilizer along with a little bit of CalMag, probably no more than about 125 parts per million total. I want to give it a little bit to help maintain the plant, but I don't want to be giving it a lot of nitrogen because there's no growth. There's a difference between the nitrogen you give them while they're growing and while you're maintaining the plant. So maybe 125 to 150 parts per million. That's about it until these buds start dropping off. So I think I've answered almost all of your questions in this video. If I've missed something, please feel free to leave me a comment or a question below. And this has just been a really nice Dendrobium Day video to do with you all. So thank you all so much for watching, and have a highly favored, deeply loved, and greatly blessed day. And we'll talk to you all next time.